Hi, folks. I think we're live. Welcome to my talk this morning on tinkering at home. So I'm going to talk, so we know what we're doing today here. I'm going to talk a bit about reDiscover Center, what our programs have looked like up until a few months ago, and then a bit about our approach and how we've applied it to formats for the current environment, including online camps and resources and our tinkering toolkit, which we're very excited about. And I'll save some time for questions at the end that you can add in the chat, wherever that is. So my name is Barb Noren. I'm the director of programs at reDiscover Center. I'm a maker of things, not just at work, but in my personal life as well. I do a lot of woodworking. I do 3D printing. I do electronics. I make costumes. I make videos about a lot of these things as well. I've been at reDiscover Center for 6 years. So reDiscover Center, if you don't know, it's a kids makerspace and creative reuse center. We were founded in 2003 as a way for teachers and parents to get more inspiring materials into their classrooms and to repurpose recycled materials in place of pricey and often wasteful art supplies. We now have a 2,000 square foot facility in West Los Angeles, where we take donations of materials from the community and local businesses, and we regularly run programs all over Los Angeles County. That's our studio there in this picture. And this is a picture of our warehouse where we have a lot of wood, a lot of our large tools for some of our tinkering programs there, and some additional materials here. We've got a lot of fabric there. There's cardboard tubes, there's yarn, there's paper, there are a bunch of plastic containers. We have a lot of tennis balls and tennis ball tubes, which are very popular. Those make great heads, and we love cutting them apart as well. So our mission is to develop children's creativity through hands-on making with sustainable materials. And we've accomplished this through a wide variety of programs. We have in-person camps, workshops, field trips, open hours, and material sales, even parties. We're in schools for after-school enrichment, in-school pop-up makerspaces, homeschool classes. We do professional development for educators who want to incorporate creative reuse or tool use into their programs. We consult with schools. We go to festivals and farmers markets. We have a lot of programs and a lot of experience at what we do. I've always said, if we can't bring the kids to where we are, we'll go to where they are, which is part of why we have so many programs and why we've grown so much over the years. So we're looking at this situation where we're not able to do in-person programming as an opportunity. It's an opportunity to bring things home, literally, in a way we largely haven't been able to do before. So we're creating resources that not only Angelenos, but people all over can access. And we're running online classes that don't have the same locational limitations. So we can share what we've learned more than ever before. More about that in a minute. So part the second, what do our programs look like? This is, let's talk about our approach a little bit. We tinker. We tinker a lot. And this is when the question comes up, what is tinkering? I've surveyed so many people about this, and everyone has a different answer because tinkering is a wildly flexible activity. It's a great hodgepodge of designing, making, experimenting, exploring, and just constant learning. At its core, it relies heavily on curiosity, thinking, and the act of changing something. The external part of tinkering can take many forms. It can involve taking apart a contraption or a device and examining the parts that you find inside. It can be the experimentation of drilling into a variety of new materials and seeing what that feels like. It can be assembling recycled bits into something new. The external involves creating new input for the internal, which involves the internal part involves interest and curiosity and processing that input and deciding what to do with it. There can be many kinds of tinkering with different parameters, but at its heart, tinkering is this circle of changing something in the physical world, thinking and learning from that change, and then repeating the process. Constructivism really is at the core of this. It's children creating their own knowledge with a cultivated curiosity, and exactly the kind of thing that we see in tinkering. We use a whole lot of open-ended prompts and play. The cool thing about open-ended prompts is they leave room for passion, agency, and creativity. We will often discuss a topic briefly, providing scaffolding for its place in what they already know. Perhaps we'll talk about simple machines and have them brainstorm where they've seen them before. A lever, a pulley, a wheel and axle, or maybe we'll present a new technique like cardboard slot construction. And then we'll give them an open-ended prompt to explore what we just talked about. Maybe make a simple machine. I've seen both butt-kicking machines and wedging machines, and they were both great, and they made great use of simple machines. Or maybe find 5 things you can create with that cardboard slot construction. I've seen human figures, houses, and a stage for a goth concert. This last one was from a 1st grader, and it was awesome. When children can choose the direction that they go with a project, they're free to try to apply the logic or the topic to their own interests, to let their imaginations and creativity loose. They are able to find a way of learning, of experiencing that works best for them. They come to know what they're exploring better. They come to know themselves better. And by the way, this goes for adults too. Like, make something, you'll understand yourself better. So play is important as well. Do I have another slide here? I do. Play is important too. So it's essentially exploration. And this is how children learn about the world around them. In fact, kids are especially well suited to learning through tinkering. Their whole life is taking in sensory inputs and processing them. Like, they're full-time learners. It should be part of our learning. It also makes engagement much easier because it makes the learning a lot more fun. One of our favorite play experiences is the cardboard playground, which you can see in this picture here, where kids develop and build their own space as they play in it. We get like huge cardboard boxes, small cardboard boxes, cardboard tubes, just go crazy. This is with a group of kids, but this is something that you can absolutely do, obviously, on your own or with your family, just at home. Perhaps not with refrigerator boxes, though. If you have one, don't get rid of it. That's super useful. So we're also big fans of failure. Failure is kind of a loaded term. Basically, we recognize the value of trying and not succeeding. It gives the opportunity to build frustration tolerance, to evaluate what just happened, to brainstorm more ideas, not just go with the first thing. Also, sometimes failures are just successes for a different problem. Like maybe applying tape to the edge of 2 pieces of cardboard might not make them secure, but it might be a really good hinge. We don't want to get in the way of any of these things. So our process, our language, our tool set, and materials are designed for flexibility, for learning, for guiding, and then getting out of their way. Our program is designed to build independence as much as possible, which comes in quite handy when you're not around all the time to tell them what to do. So here, why are recycled materials such a good choice? They are accessible. There isn't the same barrier to entry for these as, say, an Arduino or a robotics kit, as great as those things are. You aren't precluded from making if you don't have fancy, expensive supplies. Our tinkering toolkit does have a cost, but that's part of the reason we've acquired grant funding to make it available to underserved children for free. It is sustainable. So much waste is produced in our lives, and finding a new life for your yogurt carton, your cereal box, your used aluminum foil not only keeps them out of the landfill, at least for a while, it means that there's less you need to purchase new to complete some project when it's not really needed. And in the current moment, these are materials that you already have at home. No worrying about whether a store is open or if you have to order something online. It's a far less time-consuming process. And we all know time is not always something that we have in abundance. This also encourages kids and adults to think about the life cycle of products. Perhaps they'll be less inclined to just throw something away and more inclined to fix it or reuse it. It also cultivates resourcefulness. Construction kits, like erector sets, are fun. Part of the reason that they're fun is they're quick and easy to assemble, but there isn't really a ton of thought that goes into a child's mind about when they're thinking about how to attach things, when it's easy to attach things, which means they're not learning a ton about attachment. Some, but not as much as when you're using materials that are not designed to go together. You get to stretch your brain a little bit more, learn about various methods of attachment, and start thinking about all of the alternate uses for things. You get practice at being resourceful with what you have. You get creative about what you have. And these are the kinds of skills that we want kids to have so they can take these kinds of making skills with them everywhere they go. Like, for instance, a twist tie might be a stem for a flower, but it could also be used to attach two things together. Wire is tremendously flexible, literally and figuratively. So what we're doing now, we are planning to restart our in-person programming once Los Angeles has gotten the all clear, and we've been preparing how to best accommodate social distancing in what we do. Our large, sturdy tables have been converted with dividers into two separate workspaces, and there's some clear plexi in the middle of that one on the left there. So each tinkerer can have their own set of tools and workspace that they use exclusively. We've built personal workbenches, like the one on the right, that are based off of tool carts that we've built for schools. We're limiting the number of tinkerers that we have at our location, and to make sure that we can still serve more students, we're holding online summer camps as well, and providing a separate program for younger students who, shall we say, need more mobility in their lives, to provide them with the tools, activities, and instruction that will help them work at home with their parents at their own pace and away from the screen. So the usual core, do I need to go here? Nope. The usual core of our in-person tinkering program focuses on tools like clamps, drills, handsaws, jigsaws, and chop saws. Obviously, we can't be sending chop saws to everyone's home. We also don't want to be sending drills home either necessarily. For one thing, well, some kids have them at home and have practice using them. But for one thing, these are dangerous tools, and it's important to keep a supervising eye for when young people need help moderating their energy level, or if they forget an important safety protocol. We've been well trained in this. Some parents are well trained in it, but not all have the training to be able to keep an eye on things and catch mistakes before they lead to injury. So this means that we can't have them build quite as large as we are used to. We build big. But still, most kids won't have the tools or space to build quite that large at home anyway. So while this is a very valuable and memorable experience, to help them make tinkering part of their everyday life, we've gone through the tools we know, the ones that we have used for years, and chose ones that are manageable and safer to use on their own at home, and that will still allow a lot of functionality. So here's the current state of our toolkit, our tinkering toolkit. One thing that was added right away, let me change this here. One thing that was added right away is safety equipment, because these are still tools that could hurt you. So safety glasses for things that go flying. These are ones that we have used plenty of times in the past, and these are the ones that we find fit most kids best. There's also gloves for sharp and hot things, kid-sized gloves, which are great. Ones that fit, goggles that fit, gloves that fit, super important. So in addition, while we do a studio setup class with people who get this kit, and we'll talk about proper tool use and our protocols for it, we have safety one sheets for all of these tools, which include protocols that we've been refining for years. One of our very favorite tools for cardboard is a canary cutter. in case you haven't seen one of these guys before. It's a cardboard saw, kind of. It works a bit like a pumpkin carving saw, but it is excellent for cardboard. Gloves are useful here for protecting your hands, especially if you have not developed all of the dexterity that you need. Right now, I think I'll be okay. Sorry, this is too loud. Super quick, super easy. It works, yeah. So scissors, I'm sure you know, don't do so well with cardboard. This is great. Then we have a hot glue gun, again, with the gloves. We've got a small one. And in our kit, we have a bunch of extra hot glue sticks. It's so helpful to have an adhesive that dries quickly, especially when you're experimenting. And hot glue also provides a medium that will hold on to items that don't have a whole lot of surface area. So like beads and dowels, things that don't connect quite as much, super useful for. We have pliers and snips. Pliers for grabbing, manipulating wire and such, and to hold tiny things that you want to like drop into a little glob of hot glue without getting your fingers in there if you want to be real precise about it. Scissors are great. They'll cut paper, they'll cut fabric, a lot of other thin things. But if you want to cut something thicker, like a popsicle stick or heavy wire or something else like that, you need something a little bit more heavy duty. So we have snips, wire cutters. This is where the safety glasses come in super, super useful because these can send little things flying. A canary cutter will cut, as I was showing you, from the side. It won't cut from the middle. So if you want to make a window, say in here, you don't want to stab. This is not made to do that. And that's where a lot of folks will start stabbing with scissors or hunting down knives, and things start getting a little bit dangerous. So enter the awl, which we have made from scratch with a piece of 2x2 and a pop rivet, actually. This will make a little hole that you can make bigger with a pencil or some other thing like that. Boom. Super easy. And then, yeah, I can make that larger if I had a pencil on hand. Big hole. Or you can put a whole bunch of them next to each other in a line and make yourself a little slot that your canary cutter will fit in. Another thing, if you don't have an awl like that, is a thumbtack. These work as well. Hole is a tiny bit smaller, but this is still quite useful. There are other connectors and materials in the toolkit, which, isn't it lovely? There's brass fasteners, there's glue, tape, wire, sandpaper, skewers, fabric, shiny mylar. Oh my gosh, how we love shiny paper, mylar at reDiscover. It's the best, the best. We have a laser cut tool tote, which let me show you here. Here, let's go bigger. We've got a laser cut tool tote that was designed by one of our board members and produced. It's to be assembled by the kids, and it's made to hold all of their tools, as you can see here. And it's really cool. It's really useful to have something that's made set for you to hold your tools in. So they've got a really good a good reliable place to put them. That keeps things from being too messy. It makes cleanup much easier. So basically, with all of our many years of experience working with kids, with choosing and using tools and playing with literally truckloads of materials, recycled materials, we've gathered the things that will be most flexible, most useful at home, and put them all together. And this kit is going to be a very important part of our program from now on. This is the thing that goes home with kids after in-person camps. This is the thing so that they can keep making it. It goes to online camp tinkerers so that they can make their imaginings into reality and continue long after camp's done. It's available on our website for those who can't do one of our camps, and we'll help you get set up and answer questions. If you get stuck, we can set up a video call. And we haven't just put together a toolkit of physical items, because you can have the tools and not know how to get started. We have online maker chats if you need some help from one of our facilitators one-on-one. We're also hard at work adding to our online resources, which we've already got some going on, which you can find at reDiscoverCenter.org. We have activity guides, we have prompts, videos of projects to inspire. We've started a series of videos called Tiny Techniques, where you can learn a lot of quick tips and tricks. We've also started a series of live streamed videos called Dueling Makers, where two of our facilitators race against the clock to make projects in half an hour. I did one and I made a mess. That's been fun. We're adding to our online content all the time, and we have a lot more planned. We're very excited about that. You can subscribe to this channel to keep up with a lot of these things and visit our website, like I said. We're so excited about this. We're excited to see what kinds of things that you and your kids will make, whether it be a toolkit like ours, scissors, or with a toolkit like ours, or scissors and a cereal box, or Play-Doh, or pen and paper. And I hope that you'll share so we can all be inspired. So now we've got a little bit, yeah, thanks for listening to that. We've got a little bit of time for questions. So if you have any questions, you can toss them into the chat. Jonathan mentions I invent musical instruments. That is true. See, any questions? While we're waiting for them, I'm just going to show you some fun things I've made. I have finger puppets. We did a lot of finger puppets. Finger puppets are pretty cool. I can express multiple emotions with tiny emojis. Or if I'm feeling like a cat any particular day. Meow. That's always good times. Made a food truck out of a Loot Crate box. So this is now Food Crate food truck. And one good way of decorating these kinds of things is using like the mailers that you're getting in your mailbox all the time. Really good way to get like interesting things to put on there. I got steaks, and see, there's a little patio with some furniture so that you can sit and eat your food from the food truck. Okay, I see some questions. How many glue guns is too many? I can't answer that question. As many as you need. If you start running out of space to do anything, that's probably too many glue guns. Do we have plans for the toolbox available? We have, for the tool Tote. We don't, I believe, currently have the files for creating that tool Tote, but there is information about what we've included in it at tinkeringtoolkit.com. Where can I buy kid-sized gloves? We've gotten those mostly online. We've chosen the ones that we've found most useful, that work best and that fit small hands the best. Nedcons mentions that Home Depot has kid-sized gloves. There are a lot of places that do. Online is sometimes your best bet for finding them. Yeah, gardening gloves, kids' gardening gloves. Jonathan points out in the chat here, kids' gardening gloves are really useful. These, in fact, are made for gardening gloves. These are kind of like they have this kind of rubber coating on them. Like plain fabric ones will work as well, not quite as well. They will work too. Not quite as well as these, but as long as it keeps the glue off of their hands, it's going to be useful and prevent a lot of burns. Please switch to what you're showing is on the big screen. Oh, sorry. Here. Shall we do this? Yes. So here's our gloves that I was showing. Yeah. These are really useful gardening gloves. And as I was saying, these are Uline glasses that we really like. We have a number of different kinds of safety glasses at reDiscover, and these are the ones that fit most. If you have goggles that don't fit the kids, they're not going to wear them, which kind of defeats the purpose. Do parents come and help the kids at the studio when we're doing in-person projects? Sometimes that happens. Not always. Sometimes kids and parents will work together, though we do like to have the parents go through our tool trainings as well so that they know our safety protocols. Because often there's a difference between knowing how to use a tool and how to help facilitate kids using the tools safely. Will we have online workshops this summer? Let's see, I don't believe, or actually, I think we are possibly planning on having one-day online classes in addition to online camps. That hasn't been set just yet. During the rest of the year, we have online like weekly classes that are maybe 5 or 6 weeks long. So those are good for people who are a little bit further away. But our online camps, again, are available for people kind of anywhere. Let's see. Any more questions? I'm going to go back to this. Any other questions? Or I could show you a couple other things. These are my bunny rabbit ears. We like hats. We like cardboard hats. These are fun. And this is just made with straws and string and cardboard. And if you pay a lot of cardboard construction focuses on paying attention to the flutes, the little holes inside of cardboard. What's the minimum age group you teach? So our previous summer camps, we've had our usual age range is our one group is 7 to 12. We have ones that are 11 to 16, and we also have a juniors camp that's 5 to 8. Since social distancing is going to be a little bit more difficult for younger kids, and also sitting in front of the computer, we found is a little bit tricky for some younger kids, our online camps start at age 9. And we have all the way up through 16 for those. For the younger kids, that's when we have these juniors tinkering together at home camps, which are is less, there's a little bit of interaction with us, but it's more parents working with the kids at home, which I know sometimes isn't the most ideal thing, but it is kind of our best way to do this for tools that could be a little bit dangerous, because we want to make sure that everybody stays safe. See. This is a car made out of a cereal box and brads to attach the wheels. This I made during an online class with a few kids. Will you share the CAD design of the tool tote? Possibly, I'm not sure. We can look into that. If you sign up for our mailing list, we'll probably let you about that. This one's fun too. This is my desk, made from a bunch of layers of cardboard. Good way of converting 2D to 3D. Ah, yes, email us at mail@rediscovercenter.org to follow up about the files for the Tinkering Tool Tote. Something that Jonathan just threw in the chat, but I'll say it out loud. Let's see, any more questions? Ooh, other good recycled things. Flowers made from tissue paper and wire. I have this lovely bouquet. Here's a rose. Rose for you. So many things that you can make, and it's so useful. 7-year-old daughter is loving everything you are sharing that you made. I would love to see what your daughter makes. I hope that you're getting to make a lot of things at home, because this is stuff that you have. This is stuff that you have at home. And you can do it, a lot of it, just with paperboard, like cereal boxes and scissors, which is great. All right. Let's see. Any more questions? Yeah, definitely check out the website about the tinkering toolkit, and you can see the resources that we have online. Those are going to be really useful. Okay. Well, it's been 30 minutes. You can, if you have any other questions, you can send an email or find us on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. On Twitter and Instagram, it's reDiscover CTR. On Facebook, it's reDiscover Center. You can also find me on all of the places at Barb Makes Things. And yeah. She ran to get an empty cereal box right away. Yay! Building things now. All right. Great. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in for this talk. Make sure you check out some of the other great talks that are happening for the rest of the day for this online virtually Maker Faire event. There's all kinds of really cool stuff that's happening that I'm excited to go tune into right now. So, all right. Great. Thanks so much. Have a great day.